It is Friday the 4th of August 2023 and I've just found out that I am pregnant. I haven't said it out loud yet. I literally found out about an hour ago. I probably look quite together for that. I did have a little cry, a happy cry. This was planned and I didn't think it would happen as quickly as it has. It's not the first month of trying, but I thought it would take a lot longer than this. And I took a test yesterday, which was 9 days post ovulation, which is when they say you can start testing, and that was negative. So I thought, okay, that's it for this month. We'll try again next month. But I took another test this morning and it's not even that faintly positive. I've taken a couple as well to be sure, but they're only those kind of cheapy strip ones, so I need to get a proper one. But I have taken a few of those and it's positive. So yeah, 10 days post ovulation. I've got no symptoms. Really, I'm a little bit more hungry than usual, maybe. Apart from that, no symptoms yet. But my symptoms with my first baby, who is 2.5, they didn't kick in until 6 weeks. I don't think I've got any symptoms till 6 weeks, so I've got another couple of weeks of feeling good. I'm sure the symptoms will kick in. Actually, saying that, I have got very slight crampy pains, almost like very mild period cramps. And 2 days ago I had what I think was implantation bleeding, really light. But I always told myself next time I got pregnant that I would like to document it on YouTube. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep a little diary, I think, a weekly diary. So this is, I don't think I'm not even 4 weeks yet, because I haven't even missed my period. So this is like 3 weeks and 4 days ish. I haven't really got anything to report other than I found out. I haven't told anyone yet, not even my fiance Billy. If I'm correct in my calculations, I think baby will be due mid-April, which will be a lovely birthday month. Isla is in January, so that's quite a nice gap between the birthdays. And a spring baby. Yeah, I feel really good about this. I'm really excited. It is the 9th of August and it hasn't been that long since I last did an update, but I think going forward I'm going to do these updates on a Wednesday, because if I've got my dates right, I swap dates over on a Tuesday. I thought that might be quite a good day to do them. Also, Wednesday's quite good because Lila's out of the house, so I can actually talk without being interrupted. So yeah, I think I'm 4 weeks and 1 day pregnant today. It's quite difficult because going by what the NHS says, which they count how many weeks you are going from the first day of your last period, which would make me just over 5 weeks pregnant. But I know that when I ovulated, and going by that, I'm either 4 weeks and 1 day or 4 weeks and 2 days. I'm going to go by that because that seems more accurate. And not a huge amount to report because I still feel pretty normal. There's definitely some very slight symptoms. Biggest symptom probably is terrible insomnia, like terrible insomnia. I've hardly slept the last 4 or 5 nights. I've just been waking up every hour or two, and then it's taking me ages to get back to sleep. I've been having really vivid dreams and been waking up early and then just thinking, oh, I might as well just get up because I can't get back to sleep. I'm feeling really tired, but I think that's because I'm not sleeping very well rather than the actual pregnancy. But who knows, could be a mixture of both. I'm definitely more hungry than usual, and I've started to kind of want specific things to eat, but like I could eat anything. There's nothing that would make me feel sick at the moment, but I just fancy more specific things than I normally would. I'm maybe being a little bit fussier, and I definitely want more like carb heavy meals. Like every meal has to have carbs in it. I couldn't just have a salad. When I was pregnant with Lila, I didn't really get any symptoms till about 5.5 to 6 weeks, and that's when my symptoms kicked in, like all my symptoms. So I know that's probably coming. I keep hoping this pregnancy is going to be kinder to me, because I don't know how I'm going to manage with a toddler, because I was quite sick last time and I had terrible exhaustion, and the other thing I had really badly was heartburn in the first trimester. We'll see if that kicks in, but yeah. And in terms of people knowing, obviously I told Billy. I told him when he got home from work the day I found out, and I've told my mum, my dad and my sister, but that's it at the moment. I would quite like to tell a few other family members, but it does still feel a little bit early maybe. I definitely wanted to tell my family because I really felt like I needed that extra bit of support, and this first stage of pregnancy is quite strange because you don't have any symptoms yet really, but at the same time you can kind of feel things changing, if that makes any sense. I think if you've been pregnant and you probably know what I mean. Yeah, I think we'll probably tell a few more family members in the next week or two. Don't feel that precious about who we tell this time. I don't want the whole world knowing, but it's funny because I feel more anxious this time actually. I think I'm more aware of the fact something could go wrong, but I'm more relaxed at the same time. Like I would like to tell people and have that kind of support network around me. I'm not that scared of telling people. Yeah, that's taken me up till now. I feel like from this point maybe symptoms are going to start revving up a little bit. I will do another update next Wednesday when I will be just over 5 weeks. Wish me luck for the next week. This is the third time of me trying to film this 5-week update. First time I wasn't recording. The second time there was someone washing their car outside. I thought it wouldn't be that noisy, but then when I watched it back, it was really noisy. So third time lucky. I'm hoping I don't forget anything. So it's been a week since I last spoke to you. I'm about 5 weeks and 2 days pregnant. But as I've said, I haven't had a scan or anything yet, so I don't know my official dates. Symptoms have really ramped up over the last week. I'm obviously still functioning. I am feeling okay, but I'm definitely not 100%. But I know it's going to get worse than this. Well, maybe it won't. Hopefully it won't, but it did in my first pregnancy, so I'm kind of just like making the most of how I feel now, even though I don't feel great. So symptoms, last week I mentioned insomnia and how I was really struggling with that, and that's still very much the case this week. The night before last I had about 4 hours sleep I think, and I was awake from 3. I just could not sleep. Last night I slept a lot better. I still had a few wake ups, and then I was awake from 5 and I just couldn't get back to sleep even though I was so tired. If you've had insomnia, you know how horrible it is. So I'm feeling really, really tired, and I think that is a mixture of the insomnia and also pregnancy tiredness, because obviously you do feel very tired in the first trimester anyway. Obviously not really getting enough sleep isn't helping. I'm not great on no sleep. Another symptom which has started, which I didn't think would start this early, is nausea. So this started on Friday, so I was at the end of being 4 weeks, which is really early, and it wasn't like extreme nausea, but it was there. And I was out with my little girl, we were at the park, and I just kind of kept having these kind of small waves of nausea, which wasn't very nice. It wasn't extreme, but just it was there. And kind of every day since then it's got a little bit worse. So now I'm at the point where I have to kind of eat almost constantly. If I let my stomach go empty, that's when I start to feel sick. And even when I have eaten, like I've just eaten a bit of toast, so I'm not feeling really sick, but it's still there a little bit, like in the background, a little bit of almost like car sickness. At the moment it's totally manageable. It's not anything like it was in my last pregnancy, but that kicked in at about 6 weeks, so I imagine that's probably coming. What's kind of going hand in hand with my sickness as well is dizziness, which I don't really remember having last time I was pregnant. But if I let myself get hungry, I start to go very dizzy. Like even now, I've had a bit of toast, but I still feel quite dizzy. And I've kind of got a kind of cloudy headache is how I would describe it. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's not like an extreme headache. It's just like my head just aches a little bit and kind of behind my eyes, like a tiredness headache. Another symptom is brain fog or baby brain, if you can get baby brain at 5 weeks pregnant, but definitely got brain fog. I feel like I keep forgetting things. I keep like talking and forgetting the words that I'm meant to be saying. I was in my morning meeting this morning and people were talking. I was like, I just don't understand what anyone's saying. And when it was my turn to talk, my mind just went blank. So that's a really irritating symptom. Yeah, that's been happening over the last few days. Another symptom, I feel like there's quite a lot, is feeling quite tearful. Any pregnant woman will probably relate to this. You obviously are really, really hormonal when you're pregnant. There's hormones flying around all over the place and you can feel really tearful over things that you normally wouldn't feel tearful about. For example, I went into town yesterday to get my side fringe cut and I'd booked an appointment, and when I got there they basically mucked up and they couldn't fit me in. I didn't cry, but I felt like crying when normally I'd just be like, well, it doesn't matter. So little things are getting to me more than they normally would, and I'm feeling quite, yeah, tearful and a little bit irritable. I think that's pretty much it for symptoms, apart from the fact my boobs are huge and none of my bras fit me. I had to buy like one of those kind of fabric bralettes that don't have any underwire in. I had to buy one of those the other day. I've got a couple of those already that still do fit me because they're just kind of a bit of fabric. So I'm living in those basically. And same with a lot of my clothes actually. I'm very, very bloated, which I have been for the past kind of week and a half. Really, really bloated, so none of my trousers really do up. I've got leggings I can wear, and I've got one pair of linen trousers that fit, but apart from that I think I'm gonna be living in leggings and dresses, like flowy dresses, over the rest of the summer. And that's pretty much it for my 5-week update. I will do another one of these videos at the end of the week if anything changes. I'm very nervous going into week 6. I've still obviously got a few days to go, but I am nervous because I know famously this is when things start to get a lot harder and symptoms really ramp up, and that definitely was the case for me in my last pregnancy. My sickness really kicked in at 6 weeks, the tiredness, everything. That is my 5-week update. I feel like I've really rambled. I will see you probably in week 6 unless I get any more extreme symptoms or I've forgotten anything, which is quite likely with the brain fog. I don't feel good. I don't feel good at all. I am just over 6 weeks pregnant. Sorry, this is really shaking as it is because you're on my desk, but I don't know where else I can put you. I'm just over 6 weeks and I feel awful. This started at 5 weeks and 6 days. According to my calculations, I started to kind of feel worse at the middle of the 5-week mark, but nothing like I did from 5 weeks, 6 days to now, which is just unbearably sick. It's something I think unless you've experienced it, it's impossible to describe. I know a lot of people describe it as like a severe hangover or like car sickness, which is kind of similar, but it's not that. It's so much worse. I feel rough. I've got these sickness bands on, which I didn't use last time actually, but they're not doing anything. But I just got them on in the hope that they maybe are making things slightly better, but I don't think they possibly can be because I feel terrible. From the minute I wake up to the minute I go to sleep, I just feel so sick. There's not really any respite. I'm struggling to sleep because I feel so sick. I'm just kind of lying there and just try not to move, because like when I move my head too fast, it makes it worse. I've got a horrendous headache as well, which I think is linked to feeling sick and not eating properly, because this is very reminiscent of my first pregnancy. But in my first pregnancy, I did want specific foods. Like I craved my own toast, and I could, although I felt sick, I could eat that no problem. And I knew I wanted that. This time, and there were a few foods like that, like mashed potato and hash browns, very beige foods, but it was stuff I knew I wanted and could stomach. This time, that's not the case. There's not one single food that I enjoy. I have to force myself to eat anything, and I can only force myself to eat certain things. So like at the moment, crumpets is the winner. I've had 3 crumpets this morning, because I do notice if I'm eating, I feel better, but I do have to force myself to eat. So I've had 3 crumpets, just with butter. I don't want anything on it. I don't want jam, peanut butter, Marmite, don't want anything like that. I'm like just having to force myself to eat, basically. I've got some ginger biscuits, which I'm kind of nibbling on when I feel a bit hungry. I'm trying to drink water, but water tastes disgusting. I've got lemon squash, because apparently that's meant to help, but I went to my mum's yesterday and I left it there, so that's good. So I haven't got that today. Not really anything I'm doing helps. When I get tired, the sickness gets worse, and when I'm hungry, when I've got an empty stomach. So I am trying my best to sleep when I can and eat when I can, but it's hard. So that's been the overwhelming symptom this week, really. Still have insomnia, but it's not as bad. Oh, another symptom is heartburn. I've been getting heartburn and terrible indigestion, which again is like my first pregnancy, and I've still been feeling quite tearful. I will say that I think the sickness is worse this time, but at the same time I feel like I'm managing it mentally a bit better, because last time I kind of kept thinking this is never going to end. I can't see an ending to this. I'm just going to feel like this forever. Whereas this time, I know I'm not going to feel like this forever. You know, hopefully it will just be a few weeks like it was in my first pregnancy, until about 10 weeks, and I started to feel a bit better. But that feels like such a long time. 4 weeks feels like a really long time. But people have it worse, and I've just got to get through it. I haven't had a day parenting on my own yet, which I am absolutely dreading, I'm not gonna lie. Billy's been here every day, apart from yesterday, but I was at my parents', and then Billy did bedtime, which I'm so thankful for. Because I don't know how I'm going to parent feeling like this. I think it's going to be a case of survival, doing what I can to get through the day. So if that means TV, if it means staying at home and playing in the garden rather than going to the park, then that's what we're going to have to do, because yeah, I can't face doing anything at the moment. I just need to get through these next few weeks. So that's my update this week. It's not a positive one. Probably sound like I'm complaining, but I'm not. I'm so grateful, and I feel so blessed, and I'm so excited for what's to come, and I keep focusing on that too. I'm just, you know, this is a symptom video, isn't it? So there's bound to be a bit negative sounding, I suppose. Oh, the only other thing is I got my appointment time through for my booking appointment with the midwife, which is in a couple of weeks' time. So that's good. That's kind of something to focus on. Although that appointment is Basically just a load of questions about your medical history. Although last time I had it, it was on the phone, and this time I'm going to see a midwife face to face, which will be nice. I think that's everything this week. I have got to get back to work. Working was hard, I'm not gonna lie. But I'm just doing what I can. I did tell my boss yesterday, I was like, if I'm not myself, or, you know, if my work, if I can't handle the workload I normally can, this is why. Okay, I'm gonna go because talking is actually making me feel quite sick. Wish me luck for the next week. I will talk to you next week, when I imagine I'm probably still going to feel like this. But fingers crossed I feel a little bit better at least. Hello. It hasn't been that long since I last spoke to you. I think it's been a couple of days, but things have gone even more downhill. I'm really struggling, I'm not gonna lie. Really struggling. This is so much worse than my first pregnancy. I've just been watching a load of first trimester vlogs on YouTube, and I can't find any that are quite as savage as how I'm feeling. Every person seems to be able to stomach certain foods, have cravings for certain foods, and I just can't eat. And that's what I'm finding really hard. So I know if I ate properly, I'd probably feel a bit better. But I physically can't. Everything makes me feel so sick. Everything. Even I had toast this morning. Just plain toast, and I couldn't finish it. Every bite I was like gagging. I had some plain pasta, just plain pasta. Couldn't, oh my god, no, I think it's the chewing. Yeah, I can't stomach anything. I've had a crumpet, which I finished, but I had to force every mouthful down me. And I had an ice lolly, which actually was really good. I think it's because I wasn't chewing and it wasn't really like I was eating. So yeah, I'm feeling really empty and really weak, really dizzy. I keep going really dizzy, I think, where I'm not eating. You can't even force myself. I've had to cancel a couple of things that I was meant to be doing this week. I was meant to be going to the theatre with my mum and my gran tomorrow, but I've said I can't. There's no way, if I feel like this tomorrow, I'm going to be able to go. I can't even bring myself to get dressed. I'm in my pyjama bottoms, have been all day. I can't put my makeup on. I'd have to drive half an hour to get there. It's in the evening, which is when I feel the worst. I just can't do it. And then I was meant to be doing something on Friday, which I've also had to cancel. And we've got a family wedding on Saturday, which, if I still feel like this, I'm not going to be able to go, and I feel so terrible. I just can't. I feel so much worse than I did when I was pregnant the first time. I've been constantly crying as well, because I just feel useless. Like, I feel like I'm being a terrible mum. I feel like I'm being a terrible partner. Like, I'm just being useless at home. I'm not doing anything, but I found even like the slightest movements make me feel sick. The best thing is lying still, or sitting really still. Anyway, that's my update. I mean, I look terrible, don't I? Anyway, I will catch up with you soon. I am 7 weeks, 1 day today, and I really don't feel good. I probably look how I feel, and it's been this way since 5 weeks, 6 days, I think. Horrendously nauseous. I have actually been sick a couple of times. It's weird, I don't know, I can't remember what I've said in my last updates, I can't remember. But it's very different to my nausea with my first pregnancy, which I thought was bad. I would kill for that now. I really thought that that was bad, and it was bad, but I could stay on top of it with eating, and I could eat little and often. But this is so hard because I know I need to eat, and I know when my stomach gets super empty, that's when I feel my worst. I'm struggling so much to eat, really having to force every mouthful. I think I have said this because I'm getting kind of deja vu. Yeah, I'm really still having to force every mouthful, and everything tastes disgusting, and yeah, I'm really having to force every mouthful and everything tastes disgusting, like I'm not enjoying anything. The only thing I have enjoyed actually is iced lollies and orange juice. Those are the only things that have actually tasted good, and like orangey type smoothies, like I got an innocent, it was like orange, don't know what it was, like mango, that kind of thing, and that tasted good. But I'm trying to eat crumpets because I can stomach them, but I am having to like really force it, and often I can't finish them. I do feel like I've lost a bit of weight as well, which isn't good. I had a couple of days of feeling a little bit better, which actually was really good timing because we had a family wedding on Saturday. It's Tuesday today, and on the Friday and the Saturday I felt a little bit better, or quite a lot better actually. I still felt really nauseous, but I was managing to eat more, which was really helping. As long as I was eating, I was feeling a bit better, and the tiredness wasn't so debilitating. So yeah, I started to feel a bit better on the Friday. I just woke up and I thought, oh, I don't feel like I'm going to throw up, which is how I had been feeling. It's definitely come back worse, or on the same level as it was last week now. So yeah, it's hard. It's been really hard, I'm not gonna lie, with Lila as well. Thankfully my mum came over yesterday and took her out for a couple of hours for me because I felt so awful, and I just couldn't, I felt like I couldn't look after her, and I just feel so bad because she, you know, I feel like I can't go out. I can't, when I feel this horrendous, I feel like I can't leave the house, and I just know she's bored, and I was trying to like play in the garden with her, and I was struggling to even get up off the sofa. I was struggling mentally with that. I know this will pass. The sickness tends to peak around 9 weeks, so I'm just like, okay, 2 or 3 more weeks, I can do this. So nausea has been my overwhelming symptom, and pure exhaustion, nothing compares. I'm just so tired, like I can't pick myself up out of a chair or out of bed. It's horrible. Not really getting heartburn that badly, a little bit, definitely indigestion though, like burping a lot, which is horrible. And like I said, I have been sick a couple of times, but I am like gagging, reaching all the time. And again, I notice that it's when I'm hungry, and that's really horrible because I feel like I'm going to be sick, but I'm not. I just, yeah. My digestion is sluggish, as it probably would be because I'm not eating properly. What I'm eating is very kind of beige, low fibre foods, and I'm not really moving. But I remember this when I was pregnant with Lila, and it passed when I was pregnant with Lila, and after my first trimester my digestion was really good. So insomnia seems to have gone for now, which I'm so thankful for because I am managing to sleep, and it's normally taking me a while to get off to sleep because I feel quite sick and I'll wake up early feeling sick, but I am actually sleeping through the night, which is good. I'm not weeing that much, which I was at the beginning. That seems to have eased. It could be because I'm not drinking. I'm probably not drinking enough. I'm struggling to drink water. But But yeah, I haven't noticed that I'm weeing kind of more than usual. Definitely very bloated. My boobs are huge and sore. I think that's about it for symptoms. So that is my update for 7 weeks, 1 day. I imagine I'm just going to continue feeling like this for the next few weeks, but I will continue to check in. Hopefully have another couple of good days like I did over the weekend, because that was nice, even though I felt then how I felt when I was pregnant with Lila. It was still bad, but it was a lot more manageable, whereas this doesn't feel very manageable, particularly when I'm having to look after Lila, but when I'm having to work as well, I feel useless at work, which I hate. Okay, I'm gonna go and get something to eat because I haven't eaten for a while, and I will catch up with you soon. I am 8 weeks today and looking a lot more human, I think, than the last update I filmed, and I'm feeling a lot more human. I still feel sick, but it's so much more manageable than it was, at least until it gets to like 2 or 3 p.m. So for the past like 4 or 5 days, I'd say my nausea has calmed down a little bit. It's still very much there and it's still pretty horrible. If I let myself get really hungry, then it's quite bad, but I am managing to eat more. I know I mentioned from like 6 to 7 weeks I was really struggling to eat, and I was having to force every single mouthful I took, and it was really hard, and I felt the worst I've ever felt in my life, if I'm honest. Now I can eat. I wouldn't say any food tastes really good, like I'm not enjoying food yet, I'm not at that point, but I can stomach certain things. I'm still having my crumpets every morning and orange juice. Oh my god, orange juice is like the best thing in the world. I really want kind of sour sweets, like fizzy sour sweets. These bars, I have eaten this on my desk. The Jordan's Fruitsly juicy red berry bars. They're like oat bars with dried red berries in. They're really good at the moment. I'm really enjoying those. Prawn cocktail crisps, amazing. I had a pizza the other night from the pub up the road and it was delicious. It was so good. I'm feeling a lot better, and as I say, I'm feeling my best in the morning, and then as the day goes on, I start to feel more sick and so tired. So it gets to like, I'd say around 2 o'clock, and that's when I start kind of going downhill a little bit. By kind of 7 p.m. I do feel really, really sick again. Last night I had to go to bed at like 7:30, 8 because I just felt so unwell. I felt so sick and so exhausted. I mean, the tiredness is next level. Yeah, I'm feeling like I can function a little bit more, and I've done things this week that I think like the week before I wouldn't have been able to do. For example, we went to the beach yesterday. We only went for a few hours, but it was fine. I felt a little bit sick, but it was fine. I went food shopping the other day, which I would not have been able to do a couple of weeks ago. No way, I wouldn't have even been able to drive there. But I went, and it was fine. I was really tired when I got home, and there was a few things that made me feel sick. Okay, there was something that made me feel really sick actually. I'm a pescatarian, so I don't eat meat anyway, but the like vegetarian section, like the chilled veggie stuff, is at the end of the meat aisle in the Tesco I go to, which is really stupid. Like, who thought that was a good idea? Anyway, I had to walk down the meat aisle to get to it, and the smell was like nothing I've experienced before. I mean, I don't like the smell at the best of times, but it was absolutely revolting. I couldn't stay in the aisle, I had to go. It was really bad. But apart from that, the food shop was okay. So that's how I'm doing on the kind of nausea, sickness front. Other symptoms, My boobs are still huge and they still really hurt. None of my bras fit me still. I really need to get some new ones, but I'm kind of delaying it because I think, are they just going to keep growing? And so I'm going to buy new ones and then they won't fit. And I also have a very, very tiny little bump, which is mental for 8 weeks, but it's definitely a bump because you can feel when you're bloated, can't you? And it's not bloat. I mean, in the evenings I bloat as well, so my tummy looks quite big. But in the morning, there's a little bump there, which is crazy. But I have heard second pregnancy you get a bump a lot earlier. I don't think it would be like that noticeable if, you know, if anyone saw it. I think they'd just think I was a little bit bloated. But to me, I can tell it's a little bump. I think that's it for symptoms. Comparing it to my first pregnancy, it's quite different. I haven't had headaches really this time. I haven't had heartburn really. I've had it a little tiny bit, but it was really bad in my first trimester in my first pregnancy. So it's a little bit different. I keep kind of thinking, maybe it's a boy, but who knows? Definitely going to find out, and we'll book a private scan at like 16, 17 weeks and find out. I've no preference at all. I know everyone always says that. My first pregnancy, I did have a slight preference for having a girl, only because I always knew I wanted a girl at some point. I mean, I would have been so happy either way, but you know, I think if I had to choose, I would have picked a girl. This time, now I've got my girl, it's really would be so happy either way. And I think every day, even if I had a slight preference, it would change. So yeah, I'm just excited. I think whoever it is the person who's meant to come into our family and complete our family, whether it's a little boy or a little girl. It's just so exciting. I can't wait to find out. I think you can probably tell I'm feeling a lot more positive this week and a lot more, I was going to say a lot more excited. I've always been excited, but I think in the past week or two, the sickness has just been the overriding feeling, and almost kind of fear of having to feel like that for so long. And I've almost not let myself get excited. And I think this week I'm finally allowing myself to feel a bit more excited. And the sickness dying down is obviously helping with that. Anyway, I've got my 8-week booking in appointment tomorrow with the midwife, which I will update you on, but if you've been pregnant before, you'll probably know it's not that interesting an appointment. They basically just run through your family history and health history and things, and do blood tests. So that's tomorrow. So 8 weeks today. Week 7 was quite a good week. I've heard week 8 and 9 can be like the worst weeks in terms of nausea, so we'll see. Hoping that's not the case, but I will update you soon.